Hello, friends. My microphone was off. Anyway, welcome to another Tuesday night tutorial, Tuesday night live. I don't know what to call it. We'll have to come up with something catchy. Anyway, I am Jana. I am part of the Kat Scrappiness creative crew. Oh, hey, Jana. Have fun. Hey, Justine. Enjoy your time out and about, Shanna. I hope you have a beautiful evening. Hello. Oh, I'm glad you can hear me. Good. Let me turn it down just a little bit though, because I get a little excited and it gets a little loud. But tonight we are going to continue on with our coloring of our little dude from the Will Work for Craft Supplies set. We did her last week. We're going to add her to a card, but first we're going to color up him. And this does, you can get the coordinating die set as well as the coordinating pattern paper. So that is all available. The link is pinned at the top of the chat there. And I'm pretty sure that when Brian pops in that he will be my link distributor. So let's get started. Let me find one that's die cut nicely. That's one thing about Kat's her dies is that they are nice and tight, like against your image. This one, it slipped when I was putting it through the die cut machine, so it's a little wider here and here, so it got shifted just a little bit. And I did make a little nifty purchase on the Amazons. I got a turntable because when I color, I turn my image all around. And I'm going to try this and see if it helps. But it also gives kind of just a different look to the surface. And then I have my paper underneath, which is just kind of my, I don't know, absorbent layer. I always color on top of another piece of cardstock, and usually it's from my white bucket of scraps, and I just grab one. So we're going to start with his skin. His look just cracks me up. It reminds me, seriously, of a look my husband might give. I know there's a lot going on and people have gotten out of school, so I hope that everybody is having a fantastic time. Let me grab my skin colors. We're using the same skin tone colors that we used last week with our girl. They will be listed in the description box below when I am done, as well as any other products that I use. So we're going to start out, and I explain kind of how I color. We'll go over it again. I go from my dark to my light, and I'm just going to start with, I got to change my microphone. It's going to bonk me in the head here shortly. Oh, too far into the camera. All right, there we go. So we're just going to start going around kind of outline his face under his hairline. We'll round that off a little bit. He has a very prominent forehead. If you guys wouldn't mind, give the video a little like so that Kat knows y'all enjoy me being here. I love doing lives. I'm excited to be part of this. And every week it's great for me to have the practice, I guess, and to just be able to sit and do it, but also to share with you all how, you know, some different tutorials, some tips, tricks, maybe some, you know, new product peeks eventually. Not tonight. Although we do have a new release coming out on Friday. And then Saturday. I don't know. Friday. Saturday is the hops. There will be an Instagram and a YouTube hop. So you'll want to be sure and catch this. I kind of like this because I tend to, especially if I'm coloring like a full sheet of paper, I turn and turn and turn and turn. And Lynn had pulled one out the other day, and I loved it. So I got this one, and it is a cutting surface as well. So the other thing is when I use my Tim Holtz glass top, it's black. And for some reason, when I color, it always looks different on the black. So I think the pink might kind of brighten it up a little bit, but it does help go round and round. I don't know why I'm setting this up here because there's no number on it. They used to have numbers on them. I'm trying to see. Oh, yeah. And those numbers are probably 17 years old. They were just punched. They're not colored or anything. They're just, well, they might have had colors at one point, but they're just numbers. I need to redo them. So we're just going to pull from this edge real lightly, going back over what we did before. Then it might just be a busy night. It might just be me and you, Justine, for however long you stick around. I know Kat's busy and she's recovering from the show this last weekend. And Jana is recovering, at the concert with her grandsons. She's had them overnight and stuff, so she's been busy. But they'll start trickling in. 6 o'clock is kind of a weird time. So I'm going to go in with EO2, which is kind of a pinkish brown, of the earth tones. And we're just going to lightly kind of come under his eyes and pull this out just a little bit. We'll give his nose a little definition and his little glower frown lines. Hey, Brian. All right, now let's smooth that one out, and we're going to go down to, I got to find it, E53. And get that blended. He's looking really suntan, but he might be. And we're going to jump down now. 51. I have used my Copics for years, and I still have to remember that the end with the little gray line is my brush end. And I know this. I've known it for a long time. Hey, Dawn! But there's, on both markers, the sketch and the chow, the gray band is where your brush end is. And I know this. But do I remember? I do not. All right. We've got him. Get his hands here. And I did shadow like the bottom part of his hand and kind of along where his sweater band is. And then we're going to blend this out just a little bit. And I'm not going to give him quite the rosy cheeks like I did for her, but I am going to just kind of give a little bit of color to his cheek. He's got a very strong jawline there. I need to blend that out some more. That was very... So we'll blend this. So he's got a little 5 o'clock shadow. And then he'll start to change when we do his eyes. Now for his eyes, he's going to have green eyes, I think. And we're going to use YG25. And just under... And we'll come back in and add the highlights back in. So he's, you know, a little suntan, but it'll dry and it'll dry back down. So we're going to move on to his blue jeans. And last week I used the B20s. And this week we are going to use the B90s. Ooh, street tacos. Those are my favorite. Sorry, squirrel. Dawn mentioned food. So I'm going to start with B99, which is my, like, as Joey would say, the scary darks. And then we're going to work down from there. And I am not going to use my B93. For some reason, my B93 is really not the right color. Because B91 is here. And it's this light kind of denim-y blue. And B93 is kind of gray. So I don't know if my refill is bad. I think I just need to buy a new B93. Hey, Delise. How are you, friend? All right, so we're going to come right under his sweater. And then along the outside of his pocket. And down the inseam. You guys are all out and about having fun. Street tacos in the park. That doesn't sound horrible. And then I'm going to come along the top of this cuff where his pants are rolled up, because there would be kind of a shadow there. So after last week, I was after giggling about, oh, are you finally, yay, Delise, you're officially on summer? Or should I say prepare for the girl child to leave? And I totally forgot what I was saying. So we're going to give him the same kind of wrinkles in his pants. So now we're going to go down to 97. Again, we're just going to step down. And I'm going to pull this dark, my really dark color, out just a little bit. And pull that out. Free! Yay, Delise! I'm glad. Now I can bug you during the day and not feel bad. Oh yeah, so last time we were giggling about the sentiments and things. We're going to use that that girl again tonight. But she's got a funny sentiment with her. My husband's making spaghetti for dinner. Because I told him, I said, I have a live, you're in charge of dinner. So he is. So now we're going down to B95. And we're going to start kind of coming into that pocket a little bit. And again, pulling through all of our colors. And we're going to do our layers again. So we pull through all the darks, all the lights. And it's just little swish, swish, swishes. I love this release. This one is so fun. But wait till you see the new one. The next one. It's fantastic. All right, B91, because my B93 is the wrong color. So I could technically do some tip-to-tip coloring where I pull from the B95 with this one, and I'll show you how that one works. So we're just doing like his little faded fronts of his jeans here. All right, so I'm going to grab my B95 and my B91, and I'm just gonna pick up some color off of the darker one with my lighter one, and then I'm gonna go over the top here. Probably a little more, and then I'll have to blend it out again. I could look, that doesn't look too bad. Let me look on my chart and see. So B93, 95, 93, 23. Let's try 23. So I was just looking to see what was kind of around here that might work for kind of that mid-tone. And we're just gonna come over, this'll work, our dark, dark, dark areas. And then again on this side, still leaving that space in the middle for kind of our, where the light's gonna hit and where, you know, it would be kind of worn. Thanks, Delise. I'm so glad you're here. There we go. B23. I just needed a replacement. I gotta buy a new 93. So there's our jeans. And his face will kind of change still too when we do his hair and stuff. He's a little rosy, but that's all right. I use the same colors for all of my people. I forgot his ears. He can't have funny ears. For all my skin tones, for the most part, I start with the same kind of base, and then if I need to bring in, you know, darker or lighter colors, I will. But for the most part, sorry, I got the hiccups. This is my go-to. So now we're gonna do his shirt, and I'm gonna do kind of a teal, light teal color with the 15 and 13 being my darkest. So we're gonna start with 15, and let me just make sure that's, yeah. With BG 15, so again, we're gonna go like where the creases are in his sweater, under his fingers, and it's just a real thin line. We'll blend it out as well. Where his arms cross, under his sweater, and then I'm gonna do the band all dark. Aw, thanks, Jana. I know you can't hear me, but thank you. I love to color, and I think I say that all the time. I could sit and color. So we're just gonna come up here. And then again, the band of his neckline, we're gonna do that dark. And he's got his little t-shirt underneath his V-neck sweater here, so, you know, he's properly dressed. All right, so now we're gonna step down to B13. He's so fun. So after cracking up last time about the funny sentiments, I did pull out the sentiments that I have, and hi, Craft Grandma. Oh, I'm glad you like my tips and tricks. So we're just coming in. This is B13. Pulling out this color. But we've been trying to get Kat to do some snarky, silly sentiments to go along with her, you know, the girl in the set, her cardboard sign. I can't remember what it was she was holding. I forgot the band of his wrist here on his sweater. So what I do, and I do use a ton of markers, but it's just stepping down. And if you have, you know, the other markers, if you have Ohuhus or Olos or any other alcohol marker, you can do the same. You just step down your colors, and I just kind of keep going over and pulling out just a little bit farther. So this is BG11. So where I've gone over these things, I just pull it down a little farther and a little farther. I think you could do the same technique with watercolors. I need to pull mine out. I got some watercolor pencils this week. All right, so there's that. And then I've got BG10, which is one of my all-time favorite colors. And we're just gonna pull again. And like before, you know, I go in layers, so I will, if I need to darken more, I will come back with those darker colors and pull them out. But I kind of like the shading. So, okay, let me show you her. Let me find her. She's in my little tote down here. So, this cracked me up. Last week, we were trying to think of things to put on her sign, and his look goes perfect with her sentiment. And I pulled this sentiment out of the Fork and Farm stamp set, and it says, "How about a roll in the hay?" It's so funny. But there's so many things that you could put on there. But then I have another sentiment for her. Hold on, it's in here. And this is from the Christmas, the Simply Sentiments Christmas. I can't pick it up. And it says, "Naughty and I know it." So I would put that on, you know, on the inside, or, you know, I think it would go on the inside of the card. But it says, "How about a roll in the hay?" So we're going to let her sit over here. I need to finish. And this is BG 000. And I'm just going over everything. And then I'm going to come back with my BG 11. And I forgot to kind of darken there and blend this out a little bit better. It was so funny. I spend a lot of time here in my craft room by myself, but there's times that, you know, things just crack me up. And I was going through that, and I thought that was hilarious. All right, then we're going to go back with our BG10 and one more layer. There we go. His sweater's looking pretty classy. You know, because he's a classy guy. Wearing his pullover V-neck sweater. And I gotta do his little t-shirt. And I think I'm gonna do his... Oh, I forgot the cuff of his jeans. Oh no! So for those, we're gonna go in with our B95. Just on this outside and little edge, just a little bit. You guys didn't holler at me and say, hey. And then there we go. Now he looks proper. And we're going to do a light gray on his t-shirt, and his shoes we're going to do in grays too. And I'm just going to use my ends, my end grays. So we'll do his little there, and along the edge of his shoe and around there. Leave a little highlight on his shoe. Well, I'm glad you will be attending Tuesdays. That makes me happy. Because I love doing this. I am so thankful that Jana and Kat asked. There we go. And we got one little just super highlight on the edge of his shoe. And blend that out so it blends together. There we go. Oh, we got to do the rest of his shirt. In one. That'll work. Just a little gray on his shirt. All right, let's do his hair. Thanks, Jana. All right, what color hair? We need to do both hair on both of them. And I need to blend his face a little better. I think this is the problem. But just trying to get that rough line out of there. All right. So I need to put the highlights in his eyes before I forget. So I'm just using, this is a Posca pin type 0.7 millimeter. It's my favorite. It's acrylic paint. I do have the Jelly Roll pin, the 10, but for the eyes, for some reason, I just like the way this one works. So he's rolling his eyes, so his highlights are up on the top. I did do last Tuesday as well, Dawn, was the first one. So it'll be Tuesdays from now on out, starting last week. And last week we colored the girl. Let me find her. This was the card I made last week. We did Happy Birthday. And we did her hair kind of gray-brown, like mine. And so those were the tips and tricks last week, was the light denim and then her hair. And then just coloring in general. But this was the card from last week. And, you know, there's so many things that you could just put on her sign. Like, how about a roll in the hay? All right, his hair, let's see, let's go, we'll start here, and now I did not pick these colors yet, so you will get to watch how it's still there, Dawn, how I pick my colors. I audition my cardstock and I audition my colors. Let's see, do I have an E15? go. Let's try this one. That'll work. So we're going to go E15, E13, and YR24. And I do not usually go by like the numbers and, you know, how much gray is in there. I know all that about the Copics. I look at my little chart and I find the colors that I think will look right. So that's how I pick my colors. And I love this chart from Sandy. It really helps as far as picking like blendable colors. So we're gonna give him kind of some darker eyebrows, and we're just doing little tiny strokes here, and then we're gonna make his hair kind of go towards the back, and then we're gonna come forward just a little bit. And then down here, we're just kind of following like where his hair kind of swoops. Because he's cool. He's got a cool haircut. Bye, Justine. Have a good night. Thanks for stopping by. And then we're just going to fill in. So we're going to go down to E13. And just kind of come in a little more. And then, what one did I pick? 24? I think we're going to go down to YR21. Yeah, to give him kind of some golden highlights in his hair. And finish his eyebrows. And you could go, you know, darker, lighter. So he looks pretty cool. One of my markers must be leaking. All right, so we got his hair. He is done. Now she needs her hair done. I think I'm gonna do her as a blonde. Let me find my blonde colors. But she's gonna be really blonde. So we're gonna start with Y11. And Y13. And I have my Y21 already. So she's going to use similar colors, but we're going to go back. All right, Craft Grandma, what is your first name, if I may ask? How to refer to you, or just call you Grandma? So we're going to start with our dark again and give her, you know, like strands of hair. Same with under here. There's no like real like artist drawn lines as to, you know, where the hair sweeps. So we're just going to give kind of how your hair would fall. And fill that in. And then YR13, I'm starting to lose my voice again, is a little bit brighter, so it's going to bring out kind of more of the yellows. Thanks. Hey, Vaughn Marie. There we go. I didn't need to kick him off the side, but all right, now let's do our really light, which is our 11. And we're just going to fill in and kind of really make her hair nice and blonde. There we go. She looks pretty snazzy. All right, so let's make a card. So like I said, this sentiment here is from the Fork and Farm stamp set, which is a Quokka set and one of my favorites. So I think we've got, did I miss any? So I think we got everything. All right, so let me move my nifty little turntable out of the way. And we're gonna pull in this, and the little grass things are from the pop-up. I don't remember what the complete technical name is. Brian is my link master tonight. So we're going to cut this down to 4 by 5 1/4. I'm just going to take a little bit off of each side so that I can mat it. All right, let me get a drink of coffee, iced coffee. The Fork and Farm set, Brian. The Quokka set, and then the pop-up. It's a pop-up add-on for the grass. So I always audition. We'll have to trim this down too. I always audition my papers. And so this needs to go to 4 1/4. Excuse me. Or 4 and 4. There we go. And so we're going to add the grass here because, you know, they're out in the field of hay. I'm sorry. It just cracks me up. There's so many options. So let's see. We'll pull in one more. Nope, that's enough. All right. So then she's got her little sign, you know, trying to convince her husband, boyfriend, significant other. Well, hello, Julie. I will remember that now. Welcome, welcome. And I hope to see you on, you know, more Tuesdays. And then we will add him in here. This just cracks me up. His face. Like, he's like, are you for real? So, there we go. There's our pieces. And then this one, Nadia and I Know It, I think would have to go on the inside. Or... what do you think? Up here? It needs... in the clouds? Y'all, you know, a lot of times, well, 99% of the time, it's just me crafting here in my room by myself. I usually have my friends playing on YouTube, watching and listening, so it's like I have someone to craft with. But when I come up with, you know, when these kinds of things pop in my head, oh my gosh, it cracks me up. My lighting just got really weird. But I think so, in the clouds. All right, let's get this. Let me find the perfect backing. How about blue? I did blue last time too. Maybe I'll do black. Let me find, oh, that's not black. There we go. I think we'll do black because that'll really pop on. But I'm going to cut it down because I like to do really thin borders, thin layers. So I'm just going to take like 1/8 of an inch off. So there we go. So this will just give me a real nice like 1/16 of an inch border all the way around. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this mounted on there. And I'm using, this is my glue press, but I have Barely Arts glue in here, which Kat does have available in a bunch of variety of sizes in the shop. But that is my favorite, the Barely Art glue. And it gives me just a little bit of wiggle room as I get that. Hey, I got that pretty close for the first time. And then we're going to grab our parchment and our smusher. And what this does is that it takes the air out from in between the glue, and then it allows the adhesive to stick really well. So, and also takes away any glue worms. So where the glue dries under the paper and leaves like a little trail, we don't want that. Don't want that on the front either. All right, we're gonna put just a little bit here. All right. So we'll put this one on the bottom. And I have a little space that I can leave where the other, there we go. And then let's position our peoples. And you could pop them up, you know, to give them a little bit more dimension, and then pop up this last layer. We might do that. Let's do that. We'll pop up the last layer of grass. So let me get them glued down. So what other things would you all put on her sign? I think he needs a sign. All right, let's get her positioned there. I love how they look against the clouds, and the clouds are just from a stencil that I had made and stenciled the background. But I love that, you know, happy birthday, one, you know, congratulations would be another one. Welcome on, you know, welcome new baby. Welcome to your, you know, new home. We're going to put him up just a little bit so he can be a little taller. But his look kills me. He's so funny. And then our last... Fawn Marie, I had to. It's so funny. But you know, you could put lots of things on on her sign. And we're gonna put this one all the way down to the bottom. And I didn't pop it up, but that's all right. But let's see. This is just going to be floating in the clouds. And this one is from the Christmas. I'll grab it here in a second because it's the coolest thing. You stamp and naughty and I know it. Even though it's a Christmas sentiment, it just works. Oh my gosh. So funny. Let me figure out which little box of stuff I put them in. They're not in that one. They're probably down here. Hold on. Hold, please. I'll be right back. I gotta find my... There it is. So it is called Simple Sentiments Holiday, and then there's a Simple Sentiments, but it's one stamp. So you just lay it, I use a Misty or my stamp wheel. You lay it in there and you stamp all of them at one time. And then there's a die that cuts them out all at the same time. And then I just keep them in a little tray. I have like all my sentiments in a little tray like this. And I can just go through and find the ones that I need. But they're great because it's one stamp, one die, and you get all of those things. So that's worth, that's a bargain. All right, let's get him on a card base. There they are. Oh my gosh, so funny. I'm sorry. It just cracks me up. Things like that, that are just a little silly are funny. But I'm getting use out of my stamps. That's from a Quokka farm set, but it was perfect for her. So let's get this on here fairly straight. There we go. Then we're going to open it up, put our parchment over, give that a smush. Oh, I'm so glad you like it. Isn't that fun? So, it uses quite a few, well, not quite a few sets, but it's getting the use out of the sets that I have already. So I've got a Christmas sentiment, a Quokka farm sentiment, and then the Will Work for Craft Supplies characters, and then the grass from the pop-up add-on for the pop-up card. And then I made the stencil. I cut those on my laser. But, yeah. This is, sorry, and I even have a little thing on my table right here. You can't see it, but it says do not cross, because I have a tendency to creep forward on my table. So, there they are. I hope this inspires you to, pull out your stamps and see what sentiments you could find to go with them. I've got too many boxes of projects going on here. So I did pull out, these are 2 more Quokka sets, but for her sign, any of these would be great. You could even add, cut the flowers off and tuck the flowers in the grass. But, friends are flowers that never fade. Life is much better with you in it. Everyone needs a friend like you. A flower a day keeps the frown away. But these would all be great on her sign. And then even with this one, these are the Quokka Love sets, or the Quokka Love set. But like here, we've got a groovy kind of love. Now, how fun would it be to color them with some, groovy hippie pants, or, with daisies and stuff on them, or paper piece where you stamp on a pattern paper and cut it out so you have the pattern paper. But to give him like some plaid pants, I'm not real good at coloring plaid yet. I need to practice. But to give him some, plaid pants, But there are a lot of sets. So now when you go through the site over on katscrappiness.com, when you're looking at the sets, granted this might have a giant quokka on it, which I love to color the quokkas. I'm obsessed with the quokkas. But you could pull, you know, any of these other sentiments to use with this set. Or, you know, other stamp sets that you have. Like this one from last week, we did the happy birthday. And I've done, you know, he was low on craft supplies and he was very sad. You can tell I like his sweater to be the same color. And here is her with low on craft supplies. Anything helps. I have other ones, but I've already sent them to Kat. So there's two more ideas. And, but yeah, so birthday, happy birthday. That was a great one. Yeah, Dawn, that would be so fun to paper piece. Some groovy, you know, but there's tons of different sentiments that you could use with them. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this. I hope that you like these Tuesday night tutorial live. I don't know what we're calling it. It's just live with Jana. Come prepared. So now we have a hop coming up on Instagram and YouTube. There is a new release coming out this weekend, and it's amazing. Sorry, I will not sing for you guys. That was really bad. Sorry, Kat. It's not my channel. But there's a new release coming out. You guys won't want to miss. You will not want to miss the release and the hops. And then next Tuesday, Fun with Jan, I will have the new release, and we will work with that because it's just as fun. An Argyle sweater. Yes, he needs Argyle. That would be so cute. I think I have some tiny print Argyle paper. That would be, and it wouldn't be hard to paper piece either. Because those two things, but, you know, would be so fun. I just love them. I hope you guys had fun. I do tend to giggle and have a good time. I make mistakes, but, you know, it's real life. If you have enjoyed this video, I would hope that you would consider subscribing to the Kat Scrappiness channel for more crafty goodness. Give this video a thumbs up. Let YouTube know that you have enjoyed this. And I have had fun hanging out with y'all. I will see you next Tuesday, 6 p.m. Central Time, right here. And as always, remember, be kinder than you need to be, because you never know what people are going through. So just be nice. Be a decent human being. Anyway, have a fabulous night, y'all. Much love. I will see you next Tuesday.